How Epictetus lost his leg and gained his life. What if I told you that the greatest philosopher in history about freedom was a crippled slave? You think I'm kidding, right? But prepare your heart, because Epictetus' story will turn your head upside down and show you that you have no excuse to complain about anything. Dude was born a slave. Slave. Had no proper name, no rights, nothing. Was literally another human being's property. And then, when life was already shit, he lost his leg. Some say it was tortured by his owner. Others say it was an accident. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how it happened. What matters is what he did after. Spoiler, he became freer than any king in history. The worst possible situation being a slave in the Roman Empire. Think about it. What's the worst thing that can happen to a human being? Losing total freedom, right? Epictetus lived this every day. Woke up when they ordered, ate what they gave him, did what they commanded. Couldn't choose anything in life. It was like living in the worst authoritarian regime you can imagine, but 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And on top of that, crippled. Imagine the situation. You're a slave. You have no leg. Everyone treats you like garbage. Most people would freak out, get depressed, give up on life. But Epictetus? Dude discovered something that changed everything. He realized that even being physically enslaved, his mind was free. As he himself said, no man can hurt you without your permission. Dude, that's revolutionary when you stop to think about it. The discovery that changed everything, what nobody can take from you. Here's where things get insane. Epictetus was there, fucked by life, and had an epiphany that turned philosophy upside down. He understood that there are two categories in life. Things that depend on you, things that don't depend on you, and he discovered that 99% of suffering comes from trying to control category 2. What doesn't depend on you? Being slave or free, having a leg or not, what others do. What happens to you, what depends on you, how you react, what you think, how you interpret situations, your internal choices, Epictetus said. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you that matters. Aaron spent the entire series thinking he was a victim of circumstances until he discovered he always had a choice about how to react. Epictetus made this discovery 2,000 years before the anime existed. The paradox of freedom, how a slave became freer than the emperor. Now comes the part that will blow your mind. Epictetus, a crippled slave, became freer than Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome. How is this possible? Simple. Marcus Aurelius was a prisoner of the empire's responsibilities, had to make 1,000 decisions a day, solve problems, please the Senate. Epictetus? Dude only had to choose how to think. And that's the purest freedom that exists. As he said, you are an actor in a play. If it's short, then it's short. If it's long, then it's long. If the author wants you to play a beggar, do even that naturally. It's like the Joker in The Dark Knight. The guy understood that the only thing that matters is how you react to chaos. Epictetus applied this in real life and became legend. The detachment technique, how not to care about what you don't control. Here's where Epictetus becomes a psychology genius. He developed a technique he called prosoche, constant attention to what really matters. It works like this. Every time something bothers you, you ask, does this depend on me or doesn't it depend on me? If it doesn't depend on you, fuck it. Literally. Practical example. You lost your job. Your mind, my life is over. I'm going to starve. I'm a failure. Epictetus, losing the job doesn't depend only on me. But how I react to this, that depends 100% on me. Brutal difference, right? As he used to say, when someone offends you, remember that it's your opinion about the offense that offends you. It's like Sensei Wu from Ninjago always said, the greatest enemy is within you. Epictetus knew this millennia before the Lego ninjas. The lost leg, how to transform limitation into superpower. Now the most insane part of the story. Epictetus not only accepted losing his leg, he thanked for it. Why? Because the physical disability forced him to develop mental strength that normal people never achieve. He said, every art and every skill, when practiced, confirms and strengthens itself. His art was not being shaken by anything. And dude, he practiced this every single day of his life. It's like Daredevil. Lost his sight, but developed senses that no sighted person has. Epictetus lost mobility, but gained infinite mental mobility. As he himself concluded, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you that matters. The Master of Freedom, How a Slave Taught Emperors. Here's where the story gets epic. Epictetus was eventually freed because his owner died, not out of kindness. And you know what he did with freedom? Opened a philosophy school. And guess who attended his classes? Nobles, senators, rich people. People who were born free but lived enslaved to their own neuroses. They went to learn from a crippled ex-slave how to be truly free. The guy who had nothing material to offered everything that mattered. As he taught, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few needs. It's like Iroh from Avatar went through every possible loss, but became the wisest man in the series. Epictetus did this in real life. The supreme lesson: you always have a choice. So, what's Epictetus's great lesson? You always have a choice. You might not choose what happens to you, but you can always choose how to react. Epictetus proved this in the most extreme practice possible: was a slave. Chose to be mentally free, was crippled. Chose to focus on what work was despised. Chose to value himself internally, had nothing. Chose to be grateful for what he had. As he summarized, don't demand that things happen as you wish that they happen as they happen, and you will go on well. The truth that will transform your life. Here's the deal. If Epictetus managed to be happy being a crippled slave, what's your excuse? You have freedom he never had. You have opportunities he never dreamed of. You have resources he couldn't even imagine existed. And yet you probably complain more than he did. Why? Because you're trying to control what you can't control. You're suffering over things that don't depend on you. You're being enslaved by your own expectations. Epictetus shows you the way. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. Focus on what you control. Ignore the rest. And be free. As Epictetus himself concluded, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So, what choice will you make today?